facing the police every single day.
Hey, Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County Cop One. So today we're doing fuck indoctrinating kids into gay communists at schools, because sadly that is exactly what they are doing. That's the parents' job, not the school. I would recommend against turning your kid into a gay communist, though.
Who's next for questions? Andy?
I don't know if it's going to get back to me or not, so I'm going to just do two quick ones. Why do you think they're trying to block the phones? Do you think it is because they don't want you recording the teachers teaching all this crap about chopping your penis off and stuff like that? And do you feel like the schools in Florida, I'm from Michigan, so I know it's different, I've been there, look and feel like prison? Does it look like a school to prison pipeline?
So, answering the first question about the phones, I don't trust on a couple issues some of the lawmakers in Florida in general. They're very corrupt, and I see that they do apply some authoritarian tactics. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the reason they applied the phone law, so that you couldn't record. They wouldn't have cameras in the classroom. They don't have cameras in the classroom because they're scared of transparency and accountability on the part of teachers. I wouldn't be surprised if they applied the phone law and to prevent recording. And in fact, Charlotte County Public Schools has a bit stricter policy on the phone law than state law. For example, the state law says that a teacher can permit the phone for educational purposes.
Okay.
The school district just has a blanket ban, bell to bell, on all phones, no matter what. Teachers can't even permit it for educational purposes. So I think that's a big concern. In terms of the prisons, I might have exactly different perspective on schools being prisons. I see where you're getting,
right.
But the thing is, I know you went. A lot of people went to a school when it was like free and open, and you could just walk in, and sometimes you grab a gun. I'm younger, so I've never really experienced that. I actually kind of got used to and kind of got mental conditioning, got used to the schools being like that and being like prisons, but I see why they feel like prisons. And you go to a prison and it's just like a public school. And I think it's concerning.
This is in the barbed wire and all that is a new phenomenon. The thing that I was going to commentate on, this is because of factual matters. So pay attention to the Republicans has passed a cell phone ban. Like a certain teacher you might know, this one might allow the phones to be out, and I don't care. I don't have anything to hide. Do I think cameras in the classroom are a good idea? Not exactly, because there's issues that come up that are about kids' dealings at home. And I spoke on this when Jim Barber was running, and I'm about as freedom-oriented as you get, but there are things that you wouldn't believe that I'm told in a classroom that you don't want the parent of that child to know, and they don't tell me. And I work in a Title I school. There are things on national news that they rip my heart out. I'm just telling you, there are things that you would not want public access to seeing because it would restrict children's ability to report behavior that you guys would find abhorrent that we've discussed in other settings. Just so you know. And you can guess that I'm a transparency person. I let the kids record. That's against the rules of my school. Like he mentioned, similar in Lee County, but you can imagine the things that I have to hear that you want me to hear that I never would if I had the parents watching. And those are the parents who watch. I assure you, because they're worried about that.
So, Leonardo, you brought up another topic that some people know here on the local protester, that I've been protesting, which indoctrination and propaganda. Is that what is going on in schools? Because that's one of my protests, is that it seems like they're literally indoctrinating kids into be little gay communists, and to turn them into little brown shirts. If one of their friends maybe did something wrong, or mommy and daddy did something wrong, can you turn them in? I mean, it really feels like, sadly to say, Nazi Germany all over again. What's your opinion?
Yeah, so in terms of indoctrination, the political environment of the public schools does lean to the left and does lean that way. Like, for example, when I started getting open about my politics, my conservative politics in the school, I got reported to the dean's office by band kids, and I got my First Amendment violated. But yet today, they still pretend like the LGBT people and the people on the left are the victims. But then I mentioned this before. It's actually conservative students who actually hold traditional Christian values that are more bullied and more discriminated within the school districts. And they are very more like open. Like, if you, for example, in the middle schoolers say a lot of dumb things. They make a lot of jokes about dumb things. Sometimes are racially insensitive. Like, for example, if a middle schooler makes a joke that is like racist or associated with like bigotry, they get expelled. But at the same time, suspended. But at the same time, if they make a joke about being a communist or being a Marxist, then they're okay. That's the only like politically radical joke that is accepted and won't get you bullied, it won't get you expelled from the school. But it's the other way around. It should all not be tolerated.
Correct.
You are classy, my value.
So, I'm new to the county here. I moved here from Miami in December, and I comment on your remark about concentration camps in schools. I don't know what you've experienced here, but my oldest son, who's now 20, he went to Southridge High in Miami, and that is a concentration camp. They have barbed wires around the schools. It's like going through Auschwitz to get in and out. I substituted there for a while. The school sucks and should be closed down completely. Don't know what you have here because I haven't seen the schools, but that needs to be looked at. Number two, and be aware of that, parents, it is now very common for students in high school to sell themselves sexually to both teachers and other students in exchange for grades. So you get somebody to do your homework because you don't know what you're doing. Instead of learning, you hand it over to somebody in exchange for sexual favors, and that is a reality from 9th grade. Going back to what you guys said about the defunding politicians, absolutely I'm in agreement with that. Give them minimum wage. Why are we paying them high salaries when they're not serving us? They are to be servants of us. They are to be for the people and not to profit on it. And that goes for our senators and our governors and anybody in Congress as well. Why are we not defunding the politicians? And what are you going to do about as you're running for school board to implement, instead of spending money on politicians and bureaucrats, spend it on lessons such as implementing swimming. We're surrounded by water here, everywhere in Florida, whether it's the beach, pools, or intercoastals. Why not spend it on swimming lessons, mandatory in school, which is, by the way, mandatory in Denmark, for 2 years. And there are ways to set that up that can save lives. Number two, home economics and woodwork. What would you like to do about that? And then take the money away from these piece of shit bureaucrats.
Thank you. Are you Danish?
Yeah, well, I'm American now.
I'm heritage-wise a Dane. I have Danes in my house right now from Denmark. So I thought that was really cool. I'm going to let Leonardo address this one real bit. And then Andrew,
Yeah, Charlotte County Schools budget has a great potential about that. I don't remember if I mentioned before, the Charlotte County Schools has a $30 million budget reserve. And I mean, that's a reserve that you could spend these things on while at the same time cutting the budget and then cutting cutting the taxes. So, yeah, I absolutely agree. We should defund politicians. Give them minimum wage. I'm all for that. I don't like these career politicians going in. I don't want to be a career politician whatsoever. I mean, I don't. Some people want me to be president. I'm not sure I want to be president. I want to climb a political ladder and all that. I'm just doing this because I care for Charlotte County schools, and so yeah, they have great potential into spending something that will improve like mandatory swimming and acrobatics or even gun training. I mean, I think what we used to do back in the day is we used to have like middle schoolers give them gun training classes. We should bring that back.
I have a picture of my father in his gun training class. Still, he's a long-time teacher.